There's a place, a school, where a professor resides. One that for the past 30 years has traveled the world teaching others. A pioneer in America of the fighting science of Savate. One who codified the sports of this fighting style. One who has produced clubs, champions, and continues to develop. Listen to words of Professor Buitron. Come train at the best kept secret of Laredo. Buitron Academy, 956-401-4868. Savate.biz.
Hello guys, I hope everybody's doing well. Thank God I am. Everybody was down the last couple of weeks with the flu of some sort. Some folks got COVID, some folks did not. Regardless, I hope everybody's doing well and everybody's getting better and healthier. The question that was brought up last week, and it's one that was brought up by several in different planes, in the different arenas of this world that we call ourselves, that we all are caught up in, right? But I'm going to bring it down towards Savate and how it is in Savate. It's about winning. The curse of winning. You know, everybody wants to win. We Americans have always sided with the fastest runner, the best fighter, the kid that used to be the best at shooting marbles, the kid that, you know, had the best BB gun shot when we were growing up, or the slingshots, or what have you not. We've always liked winners, you know, we want to be around winners. But I want to break it down to you about the curse of winning. Whether you're in business for yourself or you're working for somebody else, winning is something that we should all strive for. Now, how does that go into training? Well, training in Savate, it's a little bit different than other martial arts, but it's still a martial art nonetheless. I go, how do you want to win? Do you want to win in the ring? Do you want to win in your next exam? Be the best you can be? What are you striving for when you're becoming a saboteur? Because a saboteur is more of a way of life than it's actually a type of, I go to class, throw on my academy shirt, put on some gloves, and now I'm a saboteur, and when I leave, I'm not. Savate is actually a philosophy. It's a martial art that it's a philosophy of life. And those that have been doing it a little bit longer than 4 or 5 years understand that. But let's touch base on winning. Okay, winning, and particularly winning. We usually see that on those that go into the realm of the sport, in the ring, the combative sport. You see that winning, you want that winning, you want to see those winners excel. And it's something that a lot of folks cannot fathom because it has a curse with it. You know, when you're training to be the number one, when you're training to become U.S. champion, when you're trying to become regional champion, when you have a bout and you want to train the best you can to win, you will lose your friends. Sometimes you might lose a girlfriend. Sometimes we'll lose those that are wanting to compete because of the girlfriend or the boyfriend, which I call the boyfriend syndrome. And there's a video out there that we did about that. And you have to understand something real quick, that once you commit yourself to fight in the ring, there's other people that are committing themselves to producing you to your best of your ability. And people do not understand that. You see, martial arts is not a gym. There's a big difference. Martial arts, a Savate school is not Gold's Gym, it's not CrossFit. I'm going to tell you why. Over there, you produce yourself, you go in there, you pay your trainer. I go today, I go tomorrow, maybe I go and maybe I don't go back again. In the martial arts, the same thing could occur. But there's a difference. The difference is called obligation. And that obligation comes in when you're putting time in, and people are putting time in for your care, for you to become somebody better. Now, In the other gyms, and I'm not knocking them down, I'm just telling you that there's discipline, yes, but it's only by those athletes that have understood what obsession means and also winning. And those are the ones that are there powerlifting, power training, bodybuilding, trying to better their physique to the ultimate. You're going to see a lot different discipline than the person that just buys his membership and goes 1 week, goes the next, maybe once, comes back a month later and still complains that he cannot lose his beer belly or cannot get stronger. Why? Because he has forgotten something about dedication. Now, fighting is the same way. Well, the difference between fighting is if you go into the ring, you might not come back out. If you're training somebody in Savate and they're learning it to defend themselves in the street, and you're teaching them nonsense, art, bullshit techniques, guess what's going to happen to him in the street? He's going to get his face torn apart. He's going to lose. Guess what's going to happen? Your name's going to go down. So that's a different story. And there's a video that I did about reputation as well. And you guys can go search it. I'll put the links up towards the end. But let's talk about winning. I wanted my students to win. I wanted them to be the best. In fact, they were. My fighters, my stable, we had a lot of great saboteurs. And they would go into the boxing arena and they would beat up people as well. What I mean by people were afraid for several years in Dallas and also here in Laredo to fight our fighters in the time frames that I was competing and pushing forward. Why? Because I wanted to be not only the best, I wanted my students to be the best. So I had to give 200%, 500% commitment, and my obligation was for them to do their best. But here's where the thing happens. One day, I remember, my oldest, which is now 25, she was about 7 years old. I had just flown in from out of town, and I told the crew that I was training, I said, we're still going to train at 9 o'clock. I come in at 7:30. I'm going to change, and I'm going to be at the school, and I expect everybody to be there because in 2 weeks, we have a tournament. I remember it was a boxing tournament because everybody used to do both boxe française, savate, and as well as boxing. I'm getting ready. I had just come in from out of town from teaching abroad. I come back, and my little one goes, Dad, can we watch this movie? You know, she must have been 6, 7. And I said, let me go teach, and I come back and we can watch it. Okay? Because I was running late. And she goes, why do you have to go? And I go, because we have, and I try to explain to him obligation and so on and so forth and winning. And then she turns around and she says, well, then I want to do Savate to spend more time with you. Kind of hit home. It hit my, and I said, okay. Tomorrow you start training in Savate. And I let it go. I showed up at the school. Nobody was there. Waited 5 minutes, nobody showed up. Waited 10 minutes, nobody showed up. Started cleaning, started rearranging everything. Half an hour, cell phones weren't as common then, so I started calling folks up and nobody returned calls. They had a team, they were talking about, there were 5 that were going to fight. They were competing in 2 weeks. Remember that. So Tuesday, I get back to the house and I get an earful from my ex, and my daughter was already asleep, and I'm just there pondering. The next day, I come and teach class, and I'm going to give you a secret about teaching right now, about teaching and having a fight stable that hopefully you guys can out there get some knowledge in there because you cannot mix the two. The next day, we're there in class, finish class, 2 show up to train to compete. The rest didn't. 3 of them didn't. All of a sudden, Wednesday shows up, And one of them comes in there, and I said, "Hey, where you been?" I came back here Monday. We started back. We have a couple of days for this bout. Goes, "Oh, I was spending time with my girlfriend." You know what? Continue spending time with your girlfriend. I told him. Out you go. Don't come back. If you don't have the discipline to be in here, then let's see if your girlfriend can teach you how to fight. People said maybe I had too much of an ego, but I'm sorry. But if I can be here and I can bust my ass to be there to train, you can do the same thing to train to make yourself better. So we went on with that. The other ones came in and, all the different excuses. As the tournament was getting around the corner, I told everybody, let's start getting weights, because everybody has to be on weight and so on and so forth. Let's see where everybody's weight's at, because a couple of guys were way too heavier than what they should be. And I said, you're not going to go train because we have to lose a lot of weight, You haven't been training. So I realized at that point in time that something that has always resonated in my head, and my brother and Professor Richard Seeley used to say, is that in the ring, it's the lonely man's place. Because you give up a lot to fight to be in the ring for you to win. So folks, what I'm trying to get you at was that was the day, that week, the events that took place within those 2 weeks, that I stopped taking people in the ring for a long time. Okay? I haven't trained people for the ring in a very long time because of that. If I'm going to commit myself, I want to make sure that those that are training to be in the ring are committing themselves as well. Remember, this is an amateur sport. Amateur sport means you have to give it with your heart. You have to give that dedication. That you have to be obsessed with it. A lot of people don't. They kind of frown on you when you say obsessed. You have to be obsessed with winning. Now, professionals, I've never taken any professional out there because professional's a different story. Now that's your job. It's my job as well. Even though this is my job, teaching you to go into the ring. But I usually tell my students, you come to learn Savate in class. I'll teach you techniques and the whole curriculum, the whole pedagogy of dance through Savate. But once you tell me you want to compete for the ring, you're actually wasting my time because I'm giving you my passion, my love of it, and the care for you to be number one. And that makes a big difference. So people have to decide, am I going to compete for the ring? Or you have the obsession to do it? Because once you start putting excuses into it, they won't win. They can get themselves hurt. So here's a little secret about teaching people, and if you have a school, a club, that a lot of the guys want to compete for the ring, do not have them together with the students that are paying your rent. Because those students that are paying the rent, there's clients, students, competitors as well, okay? When you have clients that come in there that expect you to be there from 7 to 8:30, most of them don't want to get hurt. Most of them don't want to fight. Most of them want to build their inner spirit with confidence, agility, some self-defense. But from there, you're going to end up getting some true fighters that really want to compete and learn more about it. You have to separate the competition class to your regular class. Do not mix it. Because once you mix it, you're going to lose both sides. Okay, so be very, very careful. So again, if you're going to compete, if you're training to compete, you have to be obsessed with it. And excuses of any kind have to be moved forward. But once people start giving too many excuses to the second, to the corner, to the professor, you just start shooing them to the side. And that was a breaking point. I was wasting my time that I could be watching a movie with my daughter on people that were bringing in excuses galore and basically pushed me out of the ring. I said to myself, you know what? Sayonara. People can go do what they wish, can play whatever they want, and there were some other events that occurred and gave me more of the push to go out. I've gotten more of the competition training now because of the competitiveness of those that do Lacan, that go into the stick fighting realm. But I train them. I train them. Here are the combinations. Here's the defenses. Here's what you all have to put together. You guys have to do it on your own. And yes, I am, but I'm not there as I was 15 years ago. So that doesn't mean I don't love Savate. That doesn't mean I don't love teaching people to win, because every day we do that, and we do that in a different way, and we do that for them to be good saboteurs, very capable of defending themselves. That's never going to change, and from there on. But in Savate, the large majority of learning the art, you also have to learn the ring art, which is different than in the other martial arts. Nonetheless, keep the questions coming. Understand the art if you want, and I want to thank you all for becoming members and subscribing. And if you like this video, share it, comment, send me an email. We have a couple of books that should be coming in, lots for the Roots and the Lone Star, as well as Walk Like a Band Dog and Out of Shih Tzu. Those books are out there. If you guys want them, we should be getting them in. I got a letter from an email from the publisher that we should be getting them in right now in February. So nonetheless, I think it's going to be a good month. Again, folks, you guys stay healthy, and until next time, much peace.